Hey guys, today I'm bringing you some new gameplay from Battlefront 2, and at the same time trying to explain the Specialist class, aka the Sniper class, in Battlefront. So the gameplay you'll be seeing today is most likely what will be in the beta when it releases soon. However, I can't guarantee that this will be exactly what's in the beta, but I've done my best with what I saw. So, first of all, the new map that we're playing right now is Takodana, Maz's castle. So it's got a large forest area, and it's also got a fort area to the side, which you saw at the beginning of the first clip. So first, let's talk about the standard DMR sniper for the Specialist class. You'll notice that whether you're playing a Stormtrooper, Clone Trooper, Droid, or Rebel, or any of the other variants, they'll have different weapons. However, the stats on those particular weapons, like the first one, will always be roughly the same. The standard DMR takes about 7 shots to overheat. It's a 4-shot kill to the chest and a 2-shot kill to the head. However, I haven't tested this thoroughly. When your rifle overheats after 7 shots, it gives you 2 options. It gives you a blue zone and a yellow zone. In the blue zone, it gives you an instant reload. In the yellow zone, it overcharges your rifle and allows you to ignore the overheating for as long as it's active. If you reload whilst in the grey mode, so you accidentally misclick at the wrong time, then your gun will actually overheat and you won't be able to shoot for a couple of seconds. If you definitely need that reload and you don't want to be stuck there not being able to shoot, you can just let it run all the way down and then you just get a normal reload and you'll be able to shoot again. In close quarters, you're actually at a really big disadvantage with your DMR. Your DMR does not do enough damage at close range to compete with fast firing assault weapons, for instance. To combat this, you can use your ability called Infiltration, which takes you off the map and gives you a fast-firing close-range weapon. This ability is a huge part of using the Specialist class, and it's the one thing that allows you to win in close range. As soon as you use your Infiltration ability, you'll be taken off the map for your enemies, and you'll be able to see all the enemies within your area on your minimap. You'll also be able to move much faster, and you'll be able to take out enemies at close range ridiculously fast with the close range 3-round burst rifle. My advice is to turn on Infiltration as soon as you know that enemies are nearby, because if you try and fight them with your long range rifle, you'll end up getting killed way faster. You'll also notice that every time you get a kill whilst in Infiltration mode, it'll actually extend the duration of the effect. This essentially means that you can get behind enemy lines, stay off enemy radar, and continually get kills without even being noticed, and also it increases the duration for every kill you get, so you can just go on massive killing sprees. You can also get star cards or perks that can increase the effects of your Infiltration, so there's one which allows your teammates to also see everyone in your minimap. You're also much more likely to be able to melee someone whilst they're not looking at you whilst in the Infiltration mode. So, because you're not on the minimap when you sprint, a lot of people won't even know that you're there. In this clip, you'll see that I start getting into a fight at close range, I melee the first guy, but then I get down to really low health. But because of my Infiltration, I'm able to watch him on the minimap and avoid his movements, and then, in the end, he didn't know where I went, but I knew exactly where he was and gunned him down. Another ability that you have in the bottom right are the thermal binoculars. Now if you use these, you're able to see all enemies through walls, through terrain, and it basically just gives you a wall hack. You're able to mark enemies, and then your teammates are able to see the marked enemies. It was actually quite difficult to be able to mark enemies as they had to be in your line of sight and you couldn't mark them through walls. If an enemy you've marked dies, you get a kill assist for it. The Stinger pistol is essentially a very low damage over time sidearm. I found it less effective than just using the DMR, to be honest, but it worked out in this instance where a guy was low on health and I was able to back into cover and the damage over time killed him after a couple of seconds. It seemed to be very situational. There was a lot of times where I peeked out and tried to take fights with it and I would just get immediately gunned down. In this instance, you'll see that I damaged the jet trooper quite a bit and then managed to hit him quite accurately a few times with my Stinger pistol, but even then, it took a while for him to go down. I almost wanted to just use my DMR to finish him off. And so, a couple of final things to add. Snipers, or DMRs in this game, do have glare, and they do have a scope glint, so you can see when other snipers are aiming at you. So you'll see in this clip, I just aim for the direct center of the scope glint, and you get headshots all day. So you have to be really careful when you're aiming at people from far away, because people can see where you're aiming from. Another thing to mention is that every class, including the specialist class, can roll, and I've noticed that rolling seems to be quite a solid meta in this build, because it really is difficult to hit people that are moving that fast. And I recommend rolling whenever you're trying to get back into cover, as it works really effectively. And that just about covers everything that I discovered using the specialist class in the beta build. As I said, not everything will be the same that you guys might end up playing, but I've tried to cover as close as possible what I think are the essentials of understanding the specialist class. If I was to offer any advice about playing the specialist class, it would definitely be use your range to your advantage. If you try and fight people at close range, it's very difficult to beat someone with an assault or heavy weapon. You're going to have a lot of problems fighting the close range classes when you're more specialized for long range. Even when using Infiltration, I would always recommend using Infiltration when you're not the main focus. So trying to get in behind enemy lines and shooting people in the back is much more effective than trying to fight heavies and assaults face on. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be covering some more Star Wars Battlefront 2 in the near future.